I'm Washington Ali, and welcome to Project Become, a project uncovering the unspoken thoughts that stop us from living a life worth living. I'm not here to tell you what to do or who to be, and I certainly don't have the answers. I'm just hoping to uncover the secrets of the world while speaking with explorers, dreamers, thinkers, and creators. I hope we all find something that helps us accept who we've become, and find something that helps us create someone we are proud of becoming. I'm Washington Ali, and welcome to Project Become. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest, an old friend, and how Brandon shows up to me is really someone who is adventurous, outgoing, I guess you could put confident in there, and extremely, extremely intelligent and bold, because some of the moves you've been making from really, really young, the type of moves that I hadn't experienced anyone make in my personal life. So I guess bold and brave would jump into there as well, you know. Charismatic, and yeah, you just like people draw to you the same way I drew to you when we were younger as well, man. So no worries, man, no worries. So that's how you show up to me in the world. How would you describe yourself, Brandon?
How would I describe myself? I'm just someone who just follows what I love, you know, like, as you say, like from the outside, people see them as like bold moves or like, oh my God, how can you do that? But from just a young age, I think it was the boxing that taught me it, you know, sort of like you got to do it for yourself. You know, I think a lot of people doing team sports when they're young learn to work as a team and sort of listen to people and work with people around them. But I don't know, I think it was the boxing that just taught me the discipline and just taught me, you know, if you want to do something, you got to go and do it. But yeah, as I said, like I'm just someone who just follows what I love, and I let that dictate where I go and what I do, rather than thinking money or thinking 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line. Like all of the moves, maybe as you would say, have been always, okay, what's the next step? Okay, what's the next step? What's the next step? You know, and then I look back, and that was all of a sudden, you know, since I saw you last, you know, like all of a sudden all those years have passed, and it's just, I never planned to be where I am right now, but just step by step, I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm just someone who does what I love. There we go. That's what I would say.
I love that. And you know, you just saying that just brings out the amount of times that we've met at like just random points of our lives in Southend High Street. Just be like, oh wait, what? You're here? What's up, man? You know,
for real.
You know, so I think what's always good is to hear a bit of background about you, and how I'd like to frame that is like, who have you been in the past, and answer that however you wish.
Who have I been in the past? Wow, there's so many different aspects to that. Wow, that's a big one. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind, so I'm just going to throw it out there, even if it's got nothing to do with what we're talking about, is obviously like when it comes to relationships with people, obviously, well, not obviously, but yeah, my relationships with girls is a big way that I've changed, I guess, since since we were hanging around together back in whoever knows what year that was. Who was I? In that time, I just sort of, I don't know, I just sort of did me and did what I thought was best, and I thought things were clear and were communicated, but clearly they weren't. And as soon as I left England, I was like, okay, all of the problems you've been having with girls and people being disappointed or fights and arguments, it's just a lack of communication, really. So I guess one way I've changed in that way is communication. And I guess, who was I? I think in many ways I haven't changed that much. Obviously, what I'm doing and where I'm at geographically, mentally, physically, like everything's changed in so many different ways. But I think it was all just a journey. It wasn't really there wasn't like a big switch or a big transformation. It was all just part of this journey, really, of just me, as I said before, just taking step after step. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but that's how I feel. You know, I don't feel like there was two different Brandons. I just feel like I've always just been like, I'm not saying I'm a masterpiece, but you know, there's like a finished product. I'm just chiseling away bit by bit into the person I want to be. You know, I don't feel like it's all of a sudden a new piece. It's always just been chiseling away, working in the right direction. Does that make sense?
I love that. Yeah, it does. It's actually for me a super, super refreshing answer, because a lot of times, not to say it's a bad thing, but a lot of times people have had massive transformations in their lives to say that either something catastrophic's happened, something, and they've had a switch in who is switch in like their personality, old me to new me, like you're saying, right? So I guess, what about your beginnings or even your upbringing do you think like allowed you to cultivate this strong sense of self?
Yeah. Um, well, that's a tough one as well. I mean, okay, let's go deep down. Let's go back to my family. So my father and my mom were together until I was like 9 months old. Split up. So I was seeing my dad every other weekend. My mom quickly. I think I was 18 months old. Got with my stepdad. He's been with me ever since. And to be fair, I think, as bad as it sounds, I think my dad was a role model of what not to do. You know, and we have role models of what to do, but we also have those people, unfortunately, in our lives who we don't want to be like them. So, like, he was, he died, unfortunately, when I was 15 years old. But again, that was another kick in the butt. I'll get to that in a second. But, like,
Sorry to say
drugs,
that.
as always, man, always like drugs, criminal. There was once I went with my mum into Tesco's, right, and I saw my dad getting taken out by the police at the same time. Like he was in, and
Shit.
I was going in, he was coming out, and as a kid, you see that, and you're like, what? Like I don't want that. I don't want to be like him. And obviously, as a kid, you don't really know what drugs are, what drug is doing what to someone, and you just think, well, he's acting weird. What's going on? Whatever. So I think like. That had a big impact on me to keep me narrow. Like I think you know me as someone who's always been very narrow. Like drinking, I drink maybe like 4 times a year. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. I've never done drugs in my life. It's just how I am because again, it's just me being very strict with myself, and I guess we'll come to talk about that more as well later. But just all of it is just me being strict on myself. But again, it's not just me being strict on myself and wanting to do other things. I genuinely don't want to drink. I genuinely don't want to smoke. I genuinely don't want to try drugs. Like it just doesn't even cross my mind. And yeah, I think a big impact of that was obviously my father. He was a role model of what not to do. So anything that kind of goes down that alleyway is like, no. I don't want to end up like him. And to finish it off, he died of an heroin overdose. So I was like, okay, that's the point. If you go down that route, that's where you end up. Like. Go the other way, So I think that's a big part of what the beginnings of, because I think it all does start in the family and how you're brought up and the experiences you have when you're young. And I think that's the earliest thing that set me on this path of like, okay, what is right? What is wrong? You've got like the devil and the angel, you've got your mum who you love to please. I love them both. Of course. But, my mum was a symbol of everything I wanted to be: kind, genuine, giving, caring, da-da-da-da. And I've got my dad, who was also these things, but he had there was the bad sides, and I was like, I don't want to go down that route, So I think that's the earliest thing that set me off on this street,
Wow, that is so powerful. And the thing that comes up for me the most is that yes, you had that powerful I guess symbol of not what to do, is how. And what is it about you though that allowed you to say no continuously? Like we grew up in Essex, man. Like everything's around us. Like drink, drugs, alcohol. Like we got like probably the best looking girls in the whole of England, just like flying in and out. So like, what about it? What is it about you that doesn't allow you to give into peer pressure, or is it just that strong thing that was there?
It's a true thing, and I've always thought about this actually, because obviously this isn't the first time I've spoken about this kind of thing with someone. It's something you talk about with your girlfriend or someone you've just met, your friends, whatever. It's obviously come up, and I can't really put my finger on it. I really can't. Maybe I don't like to big myself up and say I'm intelligent, but maybe it's a form of intelligence. It's a kind of like, well, you don't want to do that. So don't go. It's also willpower. I think it's the boxing as well, the discipline that I learned from boxing. That you're there. You decide. They always say at training, train hard, fight easy. And what you do beforehand has an impact in the future. And when you're standing in that ring, It's just you. There's no one else that can help you, you know, like you are
Yeah.
backing yourself, and you need to put the work in beforehand to make sure when you're standing in that ring alone, everything's there. So I think that's where the discipline comes from. I have no other answer. It may just be a mixture of different things, different role models in my life, you know, different people around me, different people who I looked up to. It could be all of these different things, but the point that I think it comes down to is probably the boxing. To be fair, yeah.
I appreciate that. I love that. I love that. And you know, what stands out to me the most is actually like you recognizing there's a certain level of intelligence that plays into that. Because for me, you of course, boxing, like for sports, played a huge role in my life. Understanding perseverance. Sorry, understanding how to work as a team, understanding what it takes for me individually to bring to a team, to bring two other people that will actually make a difference. You know, and also at the same time, the amount of thought that comes into like actually the ability to have the thought come through into your mind, the conscientiousness of being able to be like actually left, right, maybe right, maybe this direction, you know, and I think that's something that that's something that really has always come across to me about you, you know, this calm, conscientious, thoughtful person. And of course, like, as you're saying, communication is something that was not as clear as you thought it was when you were younger, and it's getting more clear now. But I think that just comes with learning. You know, so boom, that's, for me, that's really powerful.
There's one thing that's just come through as you're saying this, like, I think another thing that, you know, it's literally just come to my brain is like, it's a confidence thing as well. Like, I've always been, I don't know how or why, always been relatively confident, you know, like when I was in primary school, I was almost a class clown, but still kind of okay results wise, you know, I was still like serious about my results. I was just, you know, I don't know who's going to listen to this, but the people from Greenways will know, like, really just like the most random stuff, really. But like, there's always been like a confidence thing there. And I think that kind of that confidence allowed me to stay on my path. Does that make sense? Like, that confidence allowed me to say, okay, I don't need to impress you guys by drinking. I don't need, you know, I'm not going to name names, but you know the people around us who were just there. They were, you know, the cigarettes, the drugs, it was all there, you know, from such a young age. But I think it's maybe a confidence thing as well, you know, like I'm confident in myself. I know what I'm doing and I feel good this way. I don't need that. Again, confidence. Going out clubbing, you know, I was out yesterday. I can say as long as I want, partying, having a good time because I'm in love with the music. I've got that energy, you know. And my answer is, when people are saying, why aren't you drinking? And it happened to me 5 times yesterday, me standing there with my bottle of water. It's like, I don't need it. Like, I don't need that. I've got what I need inside of me somehow, you know. And I think it does come from the lifestyle and everything. Again, back to sport, having this healthy lifestyle from a young age allowed me to have the energy to be confident and to be outgoing, you know. I think that's where that comes from as well. I'm realizing now as well how important sport is, you know. I don't know how you're, you know, seeing it right now with the sport in your life, but man, like, has such a big impact on the energy that I have. I can feel the difference on a day that I've done sport or not.
Bro, there's a big difference. So I hadn't like worked out for maybe apart from COVID, like throughout the first wave of COVID, I was working out every single day with my family, doing this, that, the other. But I haven't played professional or competitive sport for the past 5 years. I came back to competitive football and I pulled my hamstring 4 or 5 times, and I was moving my body as if I was still the same old 16, 17-year-old me with that same energy. And for me, the difference of being active, the difference of being in a world where you're stimulating every single part of who you are, your body and your mind, what that brings you is clarity. That's what I've discovered anyway. What that brings me is discipline. What that brings me is a natural feeling of accomplishment consistently, without needing to, I don't know, pander to girls, without needing to pander to even like Instagram or whatever to make myself, to inflate myself, you know. So I completely relate to that, man. You know, as you're speaking, and I didn't know where this conversation was going to go, but as you're speaking, like, it's super inspiring to listen to someone who hasn't had to go through well, that's not really true, but who hasn't had to, who doesn't perceive their pain or their difficulties as, how do I say it? As, I'm going to say significant, and not significant as in not not important, but significant as in like hold so much weight on their life.
I'm a very lucky guy, man. Yeah. No, and compared to other people, man, like I don't. There's obviously, yeah, my dad's dying and everything. It was obviously a very sad moment, but I guess it's, you know, it's very easy to say, but it's how you respond to these things as well, you know. But then again, like we go back to it. What made me, aged 15 years old, not let that bring me down and make me stand up? You know, I really, it's beyond me, really. it's beyond me, really. Yeah,
you know, no, it's so magical. It's super inspiring because, like, even for me, I like when you're speaking of confidence, bro. Like, when my confidence dipped, right? That's when I got into when I started to doubt myself. That's when I got into starting to make music. That's when I got into smoking weed. That's when I got into all of those things. And it's like it's very interesting to hear that actually. For me personally, that was a cause, because like for me, by the way, these conversations aren't just about just an interview. For me, they're learning processes, discovery, it's insights that I'm not going to receive from anywhere else, right? Apart from speaking to other people with unique experiences.
Of course. And they're just sitting on a sofa at 3 a.m. after a party. You know, these kind of conversations, they go in that direction. But otherwise, you have them, right? Everyone's doing their thing, they're living their life, and it's good to. I really appreciate that you're doing this for me, for other people, for everyone. You know, like that you're bringing this to the surface, because we don't have it in our daily lives, man. Not enough. Definitely not enough. Or
I appreciate
you have to go out
and
look for it. You know, people have to look for it.
Yeah, like, and you really do. You really, really do. Honestly, like if it's not at 3 a.m., you have to go find it in a seminar somewhere, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. So like, okay, so that's you. That's who you used to be, and you discovered determination, discovered community, discovered what I'm going to call it critical thinking. So is there like? Do you have a philosophy of life that you currently live by, or is it just following what it is that you love?
I have so many. Like there are 10 phrases that I say to myself every morning. So I have a lot of different things that shape the way I think. I think the one thing that's always been there has always been step by step. So in sense of, even when we're back in year 12 thinking about uni and stuff, I was always like, okay, why plan for the long term? Why plan for something in 5 years? Why plan for something in 10 years? And you don't know how that journey is going to be. And you don't know how it's going to be when you get there. You know, I had pressure from parents, from everyone around me. I did work experience when I was 13, 2012, was I 13? No, I was older than that, 15. Yeah, I was 15. Did work experience in Canary Wharf. I was very lucky to get that connection to the work experience there. Then they invited me back every summer, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm going in this direction of going to the bank. And then my A-levels were French, German, maths, and economics. So again, whoa, international banking. Whoa, okay, let's go. But the whole way along, I was like, okay, this is the right step now. I'm not doing it because I think it's the right step for in 5 years. And I don't think I'm not doing it because I think it's the right step in 10 years. Does that make sense? Like,
yes.
If you always do what's best for you in the short term, one day you'll look back and that was the long term. Does that make sense? You know, like too many people, I think, are planning on, okay, I want to be this. So I'm going to do this in order to achieve this. They might hate the journey and then realize 7 years down the line that where they're going to is not actually what they enjoy, you know, like why, you know, whereas me, it's always been, okay, right, GCSEs, what do I want to take? What makes me genuinely happy? Yeah, shut up, Dad, shut up, Mum. What do I genuinely want to take, you know? And then from there, I'm like, okay, what A-levels from these, you know, which 4 of these genuinely make me happy, genuinely are the ones that I want to pursue? Okay, these 4. Okay, do my A-levels. Okay, what's next? Do I want to go straight to uni? Do I want to go here? You know what? The next step is going to France. You know, it seems like these big moves, and they are, I understand, but like, it's just, I listen to myself. I always listen to myself because I know that 5 years down the line, I'm going to be the one suffering from other people's decisions, other people's pressures, you know, like I'm going to be the one standing there in a bank in London thinking, everyone around me is on cocaine. They're not liking their lives. They're earning so much money, but they don't know what to do with it. You know, like I know that that's the direction I was going in. At some point, I was like, okay, maybe it is right, but right now in this moment, I'm going to France. You know, that's. I think that's you know, that's the answer to your question. Short steps, short term, always, because in the long run, if you always do what's best for you in the short run, you'll look back and it was the long run already. That's my.
I agree with that. I really agree with that. And like, I think you're different in the sense that, bro, like to me, you occurs, you have this, let's say gauge for excellence. Like you don't do things half-heartedly. And I think that makes a real big difference to someone who's just like, oh, I short-term gain of like, I enjoy doing this. And it's like, how I'm hearing you is like, well, the way you do things, you're going to do it like properly, and you're going to do it right, and you're going to do it at 110%. And so by the time you look back in, I don't know, 5-7 years, like all the results were just so executed so perfectly, not perfectly, but so well, so strongly, that you look down the line and that there is that, and there is a picture that, or there is a sculpture that you've like been chipping away at, right? You know,
but
so like,
and you don't know what that final product is. You know, like you don't know what the final thing is going to look like, but you're just looking, okay, what do I want to do now? I want to do this, you know, and I want to do that, you know, like you don't know what it's going to look like at the end, but you're just in that moment, okay, what's the next thing to chisel, you know?
Yeah. Talk to me about like your, like how you do the things that you do, you know? So you left for France, your GCSEs, like what attitude, what character, what did you bring forth to, what do you bring forth to all the things that you do?
I think it's tough because, as I said, and it's really the main thing that makes me, I believe, from the people that I know and what I hear from people, is like, I genuinely love what I'm doing, man. You know, like it was a dream for me, age 15, to speak a foreign language. It was a dream. It was even more than a dream because I didn't even think it was possible for me to go and live in another country and to go and study in another country. That for me was just like, that was more than a dream. That was like more than thinkable, you know? So like when I'm doing these things, it's just, it comes natural to me because I'm so happy and I'm so like, oh my God, I'm living this. Of course you're going to give it the best. If you wake up every day happy to be alive, you're going to give that day your full energy because you're just happy to be there. You're like, yo, you know, and that's what I do, you know? Okay, I'm not going to say it's been the case since I was 15 years old, but for the past couple of years, like I'm, you know, to a certain extent, I'm just like happy to be here, man. I wake up and there's this thing. It's in French. I could try and translate it. You probably read the book, The Four
Agreements.
Yes, sir. Exactly. And in there's a part. I'm gonna try and translate it into English. It's like I'm awake. I can see the sun, and I'm gonna show my gratitude to the sun, to everyone, and to every person because I'm still alive. I've got one more day to be who I am, or to be me or something, you know. I don't know exactly what he probably put in the English book, but if I say that every morning. I look out the window and say, I can see the fucking sun. I am here. I'm alive. And again, I'm not saying I've been like that my whole life, but the point is that if you're happy and you're just grateful to be doing what you're doing, you're gonna give it your all. You're just so happy to be there. You know, you're not going to let that opportunity slip. You're going to keep that going. You know, does that make sense? I think so.
Yeah, no, that makes 100% sense, bro. Like that's so crystal clear. Like, yeah, it's wonderful, and I'm feeling the energy, bro. I'm feeling the energy. Like I know a conversation's good when I'm like yes, you know. So that's beautiful, bro. So like, tell us about Vossi Fam. Tell us about what's going on there. Like, tell us about the beginning of that, the creation of that, and what's going on there.
So Vossi Fam. Let's say I'll say how it started, and then we'll go into what it is now. So basically, Vossi Fam. Me and a group of friends. Oh, actually, it started with me organizing a birthday party. So I organized a birthday party. At the time, I was learning to be a DJ as well. And then I think around 75 people came to that birthday party. It wasn't a house party. That would be way too much, but we like hired a location. And a couple of days before my birthday, I was like...
Wait, where was this? Where was this?
In Cologne. In Germany. In Cologne, Germany, yeah. So we hired this place. organized this party. It was a really nice party. Like me and my friend who was also learning how to DJ. We played. We got a barbecue outside. It was summer. My birthday's June 5th. So man, it was a great day. But even before the party, I was like, yo, if I can get 75 people at this party, what if all of my friends were to each invite all of their friends? That would be one heck of a party, right? And especially because
Yes.
here in Cologne, we're the group of internationals, you know? So like we do have something all in common. The moment you meet someone and they're from Colombia, you're like, oh, right, okay, cool. You don't even know anything about them. The only thing you know is that you're both foreign in Cologne. And all, from that moment on, you've got something in common. Does that make sense? So
Yes.
me and my international group of friends, I was like, guys, imagine a huge party where, you know, look at all these people coming to my birthday party. Imagine if all your friends thought it was your birthday party and all your friends thought it was your birthday party. Like, imagine that'd be a sick party, you know, because everyone goes to their friend's birthday party. If you say to your friends, yeah, I'm throwing something on Saturday, some people will come through. If you say it's your birthday on Saturday, man, they're
Everyone's
all going to
rolling
be
through.
there. They are all going to be there. And that was my thing. I was like, how can we make it so that everyone treats it like a birthday, you know? And yeah, so I was like, okay, gave it a couple of days, and then I wrote in the friends group chat. I was like, you know that thing I was talking about the other day? We're doing it. If you're in, let me know, and we're going to meet and start it up. So started off just this big party. That was in June the 12th, 2019. The plan was just, okay, let's create this one date in October. And the way that it's like a birthday is that everyone knows 3 months in advance. You know, it's like, if you say I'm doing something Saturday, they've already got plans. Whereas October 18th, 2019 was the day, you know, everyone knew, okay, my friend is part of this group and they're throwing this huge party. That was the mentality. So we created that, bro, sold out, had to stop letting people in. It was huge. It was huge.
Nuts.
Like it was insane, man. People came from England, people came from Spain, people came from, because, you know, me and my international friends were posting about it, sharing about it, whatever, sharing it. And yeah, it was insane. And we were like, yo, this is a thing. Like this isn't a one-time thing. This needs to happen again and again and again. And then obviously my DJ career is increasing at this time. The DJ career of my friend as well, Matteo. And yeah, so we're like, okay, when's the next one? COVID hit, unfortunately. I think we did a couple of house parties in between. When I say just to keep things going, it's important that we have the difference between keeping things going for us and keeping things going for other people. Like we don't do parties to stay in people's mind. We don't do parties in an exterior pleasing kind of way. Like if we want to do a party, we'll do a party and we'll make it big through Vossi Fam. Does that make sense? Because we were doing parties all the time anyway. And then using that mentality of, okay, let's just stay authentic, let's stay organic to us and just make it even bigger through this name now, Vossi Fam. Obviously from Vossi Bot, by the way, that was our favorite song. That was our favorite song back in June 2019, whatever. Anyway, and yeah, and then we're like, okay, well, there's other parts to life. It's not just partying, you know. Like there are other things in our lives we want to do, but we want to make it bigger, you know. Instead of 5 people doing it, making it 50. Example, sport. You know, it's like you ask your friends, yo, football Saturday, who's in? 2 or 3 people reply, maybe 4, 5, and you're like, damn, okay, well, maybe not then. Another time. Whereas if you can get a big group of internationals on board, again, you're not asking anything from them. We don't charge money. We don't want extra money from them. Like it's not a money making thing. It's like, I want to play football on this day. Let's make it big. Let's make it, you know, now we're doing 11 versus 11 every Monday, which is something, if you imagine like you're abroad, you know, like you go to a random country right now and you find this community where you can play 11 versus 11 every Monday. It doesn't exist otherwise. It really doesn't. It's only the people who are here who have all these contacts that can have that lifestyle. Usually when you go abroad, you're just there with like the 10, 12 people that you meet and they're your friends, and the chances that you can get a football game going with those 12 people is really small. So you need that kind of platform. You need that community where it's like, okay, let's make it big. You know, same again. It's good. It's not just, we're not doing it for the people. We're not doing it just for us. It's like, we want to do this anyway. We want to play football weekly. Let's make it big. Let's make it 11 versus 11. Does that make sense? So then we do the thing. We just keep going. And then, yeah, man, it's just growing and growing and growing. We've got like 3 group chats for the parties. We've got 2 group chats for the sports because they just keep filling up. I think think it's 259 people in a group chat. Again, I'm not bragging because of numbers. I'm just saying like it is growing because people just feel part of it. You know, it's like they come here, they're like, yeah, I'm an international. I'm in Cologne. I feel part of this squad. You know, like let's go. I want to join in. I want to have fun, and we don't want anything from them. We just want to get to know them and have a good time. And obviously, there is the good from our perspective. People come to play football, and then there's a Vossi fan party on that Saturday, and then everyone's talking about the party, and then they end up coming to the party. So obviously, good. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, it's good marketing wise, and also to build this community. You know, the more people find out about sports, the more people find out about the parties, and just all connected with this name Vossi. But that isn't the aim. That never was the aim. But it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. People messaging me, can you add him to the group? Can you add her to the group? Yeah, man, that's Vossi fam. That is Vossi fam. There we go.
That's lit. That's fucking lit, mate. That is lit. Oh,
it's such a great part of my life, man.
No, it's beautiful, bro. And there's just a recurring theme of just doing outside normal, doing outside what's expected.
Because you love it, you know? Because you love it. Again, it's like, it's yes, I am, again, because it was my idea, and I'm not saying it's my thing, because I would never have been able to achieve what I've achieved without my friends. I'm not saying it's my thing. What I'm saying is, because of that original idea, I had the enthusiasm to make it a thing, and that enthusiasm keeps going with like every day, okay, bringing more people in, talking to people about it. Again, not because it's a marketing thing. Genuinely, you're international in Cologne, okay, I'm going to tell you about Vossi fam. If you don't join it, it doesn't bother me, but I genuinely think that you would love it, you know? Like, you're new, you don't know anyone here, come and play football with us. Come into our parties. You get to know so many international people that otherwise in Cologne, when are you going to see them, you know? So yeah, man. So it's just that enthusiasm that drives me to then go above and beyond, because I genuinely think everyone needs to know about it. You know, the internationals in Cologne, it can benefit them all. And what's the worst that can happen? They hear about it. It's like, no, I'm not really a football fan. I don't want to come. Okay, cool. That's cool. You at least know about it. And the next person you meet who does want to join us, they can join. You know, it's yeah, it's because I love it, man.
That's beautiful.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's the thing, man.
But so break down. Like, so I get you, because otherwise I wouldn't be doing Project Become. I wouldn't be coaching. I would have, like, everything I've done in my life. If I start off with enthusiasm and I'm like, oh, actually, do you know what? I don't like it. I'll cut it off, bro. Other people find that very strange about me. If I'm just like, actually, this isn't right, you know. So what would you? Can you break down what you mean by I love it, or I love the things? What you mean by I? Yeah, just love. Just break that down in that context.
It's basically, I think it's me being in touch with myself, of what I like and what makes me happy, what puts me in a good mood. You know, like, you remember back in the days, I used to work at Mr. Sim's old sweet shop. You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Bro, I loved it. I bloody loved it. But then it comes to a point where I was like, I love the people. I love, you know, this kind of like, you know, conversation, kind of selling. I'm like, no, it's not really the selling part. It's kind of just like this personal skill, and I feel like I'm, you know, giving a service in some way. And I was like, yeah, but like, the only thing is that, you know, I want to be, I'm 17 now. I want to be a man. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go work in a restaurant. You know, it was like the next step. It was like, what do I like about what I'm doing? What do I not like? Okay, get rid of the things I don't like and do something. You know what I mean? Just always chiseling away, you know, just adapting what you're doing and moving in that direction of what you do want to do. And then I was working at Bourgie, as you know, and loved that, man. Really, I loved that. I could have stayed there my whole life. It was great. But yeah, so it's, again, I don't know what it is that makes me enjoy these things. You know, who knows? It's, you know, there's loads of different reasons, I guess. You know, have you read the book Surrounded by Idiots?
No, I haven't actually. I've never heard of it. What's that?
Okay. So basically, it's a book about the 4 types of human behavior. You might have heard about it. Some people are red, yellow, green, blue, and no. Okay. Check it out. Again, this is only something I've read in the past year, but because of who I am, I think I do enjoy leading something. I do enjoy the feedback of knowing that I helped someone. By the way, your video is frozen right now, but is it cool for everyone else?
Yeah, it'll be fine for everyone else. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're good. So, So I think obviously there is an ounce of control in it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not a control freak, but obviously I do enjoy being the one organizing. I do enjoy the responsibility. I do enjoy, because that's the thing as well. I know I just realized I'm going away from the question, but when
That's
I'm
fine.
responsible for something, I give it 150%. I make sure that thing is a success. You know, like if it's at work or whether it's in my private life, like if I know that if it fails, I'm responsible, there's no way that thing's gonna fail. Like I will do everything in my power to not make it fail, you know? Um, whereas not everyone's like that. But that isn't a
Yeah.
bad thing. That isn't a bad you can't, you know, that's yeah, it is, I guess, something you can work on and making sure, okay, when my name is on it, I'm gonna make sure that's a success thing. But if they don't care about the project in the beginning, or it's too stressful for them or whatever, if they're not in the right place, if they're not in the right place mentally, or if they're not in the right job, or they're not in the right whatever, then of course they're not going to act in that way. Whereas if I care about it on top of it, of being responsible for it, and it's something that I genuinely want to see happen, and I genuinely want to see it succeed for other people, for myself, for my close ones, whatever,
Mm.
then of course I'm going to give it everything, you know. I
Yeah.
know that was far away from what you were asking. You were asking me what makes me love these things. Um, it's a hard question to answer. It is a hard question to answer because I just know that it's all about vision, you know. The languages. Why do I love languages? Because I vision myself speaking fluently to someone. You know, right now, you don't know this, but right now I'm doing Russian, Arabic, and Chinese, just in different days of the week, just like courses in them, trying to learn them. Like, obviously, the process is hard, but like the vision of, but one day you might be able to like meet some random Chinese person on the street and like actually have a conversation with them. That's what drives me, you know. Same with Vossi fam. The vision of someone coming to Cologne and someone saying, "Oh, you're international. Have you heard of Vossi fam yet?" That's what drives me, you know. That's what keeps me going, you know. I think that's what makes me enjoy it because I see the progress. I see that I'm always, you know, it's moving forward. It's going in the direction I wanted it to, you know. And if one
Mm.
day it goes in a different direction, and that's fine as well. And if I believe in it, and as you said, for yourself, you know, if you know where it's going, you like where it's going, and you enjoy the journey as well, then you're gonna give it your all, man. It's the same.
Yeah,
It's the same.
100%. You know, I'm really, really happy like you diverged into talking about wanting to be how I heard that is that wanting ownership, wanting and owning that responsibility of having that
Mm,
ownership, and
yeah.
that's also for me something that's like resonated so deeply in the rest of my life because it's been like, well, this is something that has spawned out of my spirit, out of my mind,
Yeah.
out of my creation, and I want other people to taste that. I want other people to feel that. I want other people to experience the level of joy, the level of freedom, the level of fucking whatever it is that I'm
Mm,
experiencing, and I
mm,
want to
mm,
dish that out to other people. You know,
man. Yeah.
and I think that in itself, I don't think that's controlling. I don't think that's anything like that. If you have anything of your own, you want to take care of it, you know,
Right. Right.
and you want to
Right.
take care of it in an image that you see fit. And obviously, like listening to you, you're open to
Yeah.
collaborating. You're open to
Hundred
ideas.
percent.
So,
Hundred
so
percent. Yeah. Yeah.
it's more about being able to generate something, being able to create something, and push it
Yeah.
out there in the world,
Yeah.
you know,
Exactly. Exactly.
and you know, like for me, like listening to you, it's like I've always known this, but like it's like people like you, Brandon, people like TK, people like there's a few other names that I can't switch to my mind right now that I've naturally drawn to my whole
Mm,
entire life,
mm, mm.
or we've met in the most random circumstances. That it's
Always.
just like
Always.
it's just like, oh, you're one of us, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're one
You
of
know.
us,
Yeah. You know when you've met someone like yeah. You know. You
you,
know. Yeah. You definitely
you
know.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like what you're saying about other people, I guess, not being able to handle that same level of, I'm going to call it integrity and be
Mm,
able to own that.
mm.
Again, it's not a bad thing. Yet
It's
it
not a
does
bad thing.
having that level of taking care of things and having that same level of wantingness really allows things to flourish in a way that is, I wouldn't say fruitful because like I've done a lot of shit things in my life that have turned out really well as well, you know. But
Of
like
course.
it's
Of course.
magnetic. It's super magnetic. Other people are drawn
Yeah.
to it, and like
Yeah.
you're like, oh, you finish that equation, you're like, oh, on to the next one. You finish that one, and you're on to the next one. It's
Yeah,
like, and
man.
it's fulfilling, it's satisfying. You're like how much do
Can I
you
say one
love
thing?
people, bro?
Go on, go on,
Yeah,
go
go
on,
on.
go on.
No, no,
Let me,
go.
I'm just
No,
gonna,
no, that's
I'm gonna
okay.
answer that question. I'm gonna answer that question after. What you're saying is also reminding me of something else that I've learned. Always give a job to a busy person. Always
Yeah.
give a job to a busy person, man. Because as you say, like these types of people, and again, it doesn't mean that when I say these types of people, it doesn't mean no one can, no one, like the people who are it never won't be, and the people, when someone's at that stage of their life where they're busy, and you give them one extra thing to do, they will find a way to do it.
Yeah.
Give someone who has nothing to do the whole day, and for whatever circumstances, whether it's their day off, whether it's they've got no job. I'm not criticizing someone having nothing to do, right? But that person who has nothing to do on that day will do that thing either late at night, or they'll not do it at all because they're in relaxed mode, they're off duty, they're not in the frame of mind, So like, it's crazy how people say, "Oh, how do you do this, that, and the other?" And it's like, well, I had to be organized because I was already doing this. So, like right now, I've got 3 jobs. I'm writing a thesis. I'm trying to learn Arabic, Russian, and Chinese. Trying to stay healthy. Like, man, my calendar is brrr. But that's the reason why, because you it's a skill you learn, organization and energy, and the energy from one you take to the other. Anyway, back to your question.
Thanks for saying that, by the way. I think that's really important.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, good. I'm glad you agree. The question was how much I love people.
Yeah.
So,
and why as well?
Why? It's a very good question. Like, in some ways, I love people too much, and my ex would tell me that I care too much about what people think. I say would. She has told me that many times. I think it's a rewarding feeling. Now, if we take my 3 jobs right now, my 3 jobs are working in a school, so teaching kids English. Job number 2, DJ. Job number 3, coaching, fitness coaching.
Nice.
In all, you see a line. You see that is someone I'm working not to please other people. It's not just to please other people, but I'm getting a feedback. I'm seeing the fruits of my labor. In the school right now, I've been there for 5 years, and I see these kids now speaking amazing English, and I know how they used to speak. At the fitness coaching, you come there, you see people who either in the space of an hour go from just like very slow to like, wow, great workout, and then the DJing, obviously you see people and they're amazing, So all of those jobs say a lot about me, I think, but it's not in a completely selfless manner. Don't think that I'm just this Mother Teresa who's doing everything for everyone else and not caring about myself. Of course, like I get something from that. It's an ego boost in some ways. It's rewarding, man. The word is rewarding. You feel that instant feedback from the crowd, from the students, from the participants at the workout. So yes, it is me loving people, but I would be lying it would be me not being aware of myself and aware of my motivations and the necessities of human nature. We need recognition. We need to feel important. We need to feel that what we're doing has an impact on someone somehow. And so there is a love for people, and I do want everyone who comes to Cologne, who comes to my workouts, who comes to the class, I do want everyone to, I care about how they feel and how they, just talk to me. I'm open to criticism as well. I'm very open to criticism. But it's not just a selfless love for people, but it's a byproduct of wanting to do good and living off of that feedback, But yeah, I don't know where that comes from, actually, that just wanting to look after people, make sure everyone's okay. I thought it was a British thing, because since I've been here, it's definitely felt like a British thing. Like I don't know if you've ever explored this just in your life, really, but how different countries are kind of like open or closed, or like how they treat each other. Man, it's normal for us. We're taught from a young age, be very polite, say thank you, say please, whatever. But not all countries are like that, like we are seen, and we are very too much for some people, It's like, all right, calm down. You already said thank you. You don't need to say thank you by text and then by phone call as well. Like, you said thank you once, it's enough. And like in some countries, like the Russians, for example, when I was in Serbia a few months back, you smile and they're like, is he interested in me? Like, is there some sexual approach? Like for us, it's just like For us, you know what I mean? Like when you go into a shop
Yeah.
as well, like in England, you go into a shop, this guy, you've never seen him in your life. You could be in the most random city in the country. You're like, all right, mate. Yeah, I'm just looking for, all right, mate. You're saying,
Yeah.
all right, mate. You're breaking that barrier. You're making it as you're trying to get as close and make sure that person feels as comfortable as possible. Bro, in France, they treat you like you're a king, and you treat them like they're king. You're like, bonjour, madame. Da, da, da. You speak very very formal to them. In Germany, they're very direct. They're very close. So anyway, back to what I was saying. I've always seen this attitude towards people and making sure everyone feels welcome and welcome is the word, I guess, and respected and they feel well. I always thought that was like a British thing in me. But I've never really in myself anyway gone deeper into that, I guess. Yeah. What do you
Wow.
think? Think it's a British thing?
Honestly, bro, yeah, I'd say it's a British thing, but like, so so when I was like when I just turned 17, I went to Thailand, I went to Australia, I went to India, I went to yada yada yada, and I met so many international people, and it was like, I think it was like a characteristic of everyone who traveled cared. Like I stayed I went with my older brother, and I stayed in so many hostels, and like we instantly in a day we were family. We were drinking together, we were sharing stories, we were going on adventures in a town together, we were just exploring and experiencing together, and we're making sure that we're taking care of each other, and I always find it so, and like, if I'm going to be completely honest, bro, like my general experience of life, like if I has been so unorthodox to when I speak to other people, let's say other black people, other like just other people, and I'm like, everywhere I go, I've always been received really, really well, and I've always had people that actually want to look after me. In Thailand, we had a tuk-tuk driver that took us to like Bear Suit. He let us know, like, listen, we have to go to these places. Well, could we go to these places so that I get fuel tokens and this, that, the other? Got into an altercation in a suit shop with the owner because like we were pretending that we wanted to buy a suit so that he could make, because we had to be in a place for at least half an hour, otherwise he wouldn't get his token. And then we got into like a risky altercation with an owner, and the tuk-tuk driver, he was like, oh, you guys are taking really long. He came in and like he defused the whole entire situation for us. After that happened, he took us to his village, his little community, and he sat us down in his community, met his family, this, that, the other. When we were in Australia, exact same vibe. Every time I've been in Europe, I've been a bit young, but I went to Belgium with internationals again, and
vibe,
exact same, it's different vibe, man. So I think it's definitely an English thing to be like very overly friendly, overly apologetic, definitely that. But like the community feeling, I don't know what it is, but everywhere I've ever been, I've always felt like, oh wow, like I feel safe here. I feel like I feel really safe as the word.
Definitely, like especially with the international community, like while you're on it, like with the whole Vossi fam thing, it's a crazy thing because everyone always says, oh, the Vossi fam parties, like, oh, the people are so great there. That's nothing I did. I didn't do anything special. I didn't choose. I didn't put a bouncer on the door and say anyone who's dressed like this or what. It's just, man, when you're international, you're here in Cologne and anywhere, you've all got something in common, as I said, but you're all open-minded. You're not someone who's just going to stay doing what they're doing day by day, living in the same city. And again, no criticism to anyone who does that. I'm just saying, like, it's a different mentality to those who do travel or do open their mind, open their horizons. And everyone says it's true since you're a 13-year-old kid, traveling opens your horizons. And if you travel and other people are also got their horizons open, they're just completely open. They're just a completely good vibes, happy. Everyone's a foreigner, no one's on their ego, like, yeah, I'm this, you're that, everyone's equal, and no matter where you come from. But we've gone in a different direction. But I completely agree with you, and that's exactly what I experience every day here, just that's another reason why, again, back to why I love it. People around me, man. Everyone's just in such a great way, and just there for fun, just there for the good time, just no drama, no drama, just good vibes and openness and acceptance of no matter who you are, where you come from, what you look like. It's special, man. It is special.
It really is. It really is. You know, as you're speaking, another thing came into me is like, well, when we're traveling, we're actually also very vulnerable. Like,
Mm.
excuse me, we're actually in a space where, like, well, everyone essentially is stranger danger to us, and like as you're saying, we have to be open enough to be able to receive that, but actually at the
Yeah,
same time we're the most open and vulnerable that we've ever been, because there's no one there necessarily to protect us, to make sure that we've got somewhere to sleep at night,
yeah,
and to
yeah,
cover our basic needs apart from ourselves, you know.
yeah.
um yeah, dude, like honestly, like I'm super humbled by our conversation, because there's things that I actually genuinely don't speak about traveling, don't speak about
Yeah,
commuting and meeting people, unless it's like with my own personal circles. I've never even
yeah,
heard it in a conversation like this,
yeah,
even
yeah,
like on the Joe Rogan podcast. I don't know why, or it just might not have registered. So I think it's really, really important that like you're here and you're sharing this message of like actually getting
yeah,
out there. And another thing that just popped into my mind is that so many people our age, well, not our age, that are going to be our age, like my younger brother's age, who
yeah,
he's turning 17 in April, and this, that, the other. He obviously wants to travel, but a lot of younger people are more willing, more wanting to stay at home and to
yeah.
just live, well, I guess, no, that's incorrect. So they want to travel. What do you think about people? Actually, let me ask you this first. What
Yeah.
do you want to start your own family one day? Like, what are your thoughts on that? And I know it's like a left wing question,
Go
but
for it.
it's
Go for it, man. Do your
yeah.
thing. By the way, how's the lighting? I realized the sun was hitting you from behind. Anyway, um, so I understand why these are linked. I do understand why these are linked because yeah, how do I put this nicely? Like obviously, if you don't do what I've done, you know, if you just stay where you're at, and you know you find the one, life does become okay. What's next? You know, like when's the marriage? When's the baby? When you know, and when's the house? You know, like because we're always looking for something to look forward to, and that's normal. That's not a bad thing. You know, everyone needs something to look forward to, and it's like kind of as soon as you're together for a while, it's like okay, well, when you get married, and you know all this stuff. So me
Mm.
here being so out of all that, and when I say out of all that, I mean no one's like we're all here just doing our thing, you know, like we're going to be here, there, like temporary, you know, like some people are here to stay or some, we don't know. We're not planning, you know, because the people who are here are just like, yeah, maybe I'll go back to Spain one day, or no, I'm here right now. I'm with this guy right now, and maybe they get married, maybe they have kids, but it's not on the radar. It's not like, okay, quick, you know, what's next? Because they're just enjoying their life. This is a big experience for them. They're living abroad. They're doing their thing. So, okay, family building and stuff doesn't really come onto the radar much. Back to your question, I do want a family. I do want children. I do want to settle down at some point, and I know that that time will come. And when that time will come, it will be right. You know, like some people might. You know, my mum had me when she was 20. You know, and I'm looking at my life right now. I'm like, yo, how could I have had a kid 4 years ago? Like,
Yeah,
how
same.
how is this possible? You know, but then times have changed, and she lived a very different life that I did. As I said, she was working in, I think it was called Woody's or something. Is that Asda? I don't know. It was like a cafe or restaurant. I don't know, something like that. And then she was working in Asda. You know, like again, it's not about the job. It's about okay, what's next? You know, and for me right now, it's about education and about the next job and the next project and then there. So if I find myself in a long term stable relationship, then of course, then the next step is that. But right now, man, like it's just I'm doing me, I'm doing my thing, and when that comes, it comes. But it's not something that I'm like, okay, I need to do it before this age and this amount of. It's not something I'm planning, you know. Because back to what I said right in the beginning, one step at a time. Because I know that by doing that, it will just go to the right direction. Same with finding the right person. Like so many people, I mean, I have no problem with Tinder. People can do Tinder as much as they like. It's not about this, what I'm about to say. But as you know, like if you look for something, you might find it. But if you know, the moment you stop looking, it actually comes towards you in a way, you know? Yeah, for real. But also
Mm.
by doing, again, it's all like this big circle of just doing what you love. Because, you know, if you're into dancing and you go to a dance class, you've automatically got something in common with those people there. If you love, if you, oh, I don't know if you heard that, but I just beeped off here.
I didn't.
No, he did. He didn't. You didn't. Okay, sweet. Yeah, if you're into traveling, and then you go traveling, then you're going to meet someone who loves traveling. If you love French, then you go to France, and then all of a sudden there's an English girl or whatever girl who lives there. You both love French. You get what I mean? Like, just by following your true passion and don't listen to anyone else, by doing exactly what you love. When it comes to love, you're going to find someone doing those things because you've also got something in common. You're like, oh, you're here as well. Oh my God, you love what I love. Sick. And then all of a sudden, it's a really big step. And that I just apply that to everything. Like, I'm not on Tinder for that reason personally, because I feel like from the moment you meet them, you're kind of like, okay, I know why I'm here. You know why you're here. It's kind of like forced, and then you go on a date, and it's like, okay, yeah. It's just
too safe, man. It's too safe for me. Like, I hear you. It's too safe.
I mean,
yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right. Dude, so for me, the whole entire point of Project Become is that I believe everyone is a project becoming, right? And of course you have projects and this, that, the other. And for me, the same way you affirm, you do your like style of affirmations.
Yeah.
I would like to use this podcast as a way to affirm like who it is that you're becoming, and also I'd really love to hear what you think is going to become of the world as well, so if we start of the world, and I've had some really like left-wing responses like AI and like taking over the world, and I've had some really great ones like well, not great, but just like I've had an eclectic rate of responses. So yeah, what is going to become of Brandon Cozens?
Of Brandon Cozens. So, what is going to become of me? I hope, and it can only be a hope, inshallah. I can only hope that my level of happiness and contentment in my life increases. I don't know which avenues that's going to come from. I'm already in such a good place. I'm enjoying everything that I'm doing right now, but that I find more and more, and as time evolves, a way to just be as happy as I can and to do the things that I love. And I know it sounds so like general and broad, but that's really all that matters, like, because right now I'm a DJ, but like with anything, like, the world is constantly changing. We are constantly changing. Who knows what I'm going to love in a year? Who knows what I might break a leg. I might have heart problems. We don't know what the future isn't guaranteed, so as long as I am in a place where I'm stable, financially, mentally, physically, as much as possible, I'm stable, I'm happy, I'm doing what I love, and I'm helping people in the process, man, like that's all I can hope for, I've got projects as a DJ. Of course there's a club that I want to play in, and there's like I want to be playing once a month in England, like I have these goals, and with the coaching and with all these different things. I'm Vossi fam. I want Vossi fam to do that. Yeah, okay, a boat party, that would be sick. Of course I have individual projects and individual goals. Otherwise, what are we working towards? But as long as I'm doing what I love in a way that's beneficial to me, the people around me, I'm comfortable, I'm happy, I'm safe, man. Like, everything else is just extra shit, man. I think that's the answer.
Thank you. And what do you think is going to become of the world?
What's going to become of the world? So I'm actually a strong believer that not much will change. And when I say not much will change, is that our behaviors and the things that we're doing right now are the same things that people were doing 100 years ago, 500 years ago. We're just doing it in different ways. I saw a picture recently of everyone on their phones in the train. And then a picture underneath of everyone reading their newspapers in the train. Because when people say to you, yeah, the world used to be so much more interactive. No, we didn't. No, in those situations, no, we didn't. Everyone, human beings are human beings. We act the way we act. We have our reasons to act the way we act. And we're going to find the easiest, most comfortable way of acting in that way. So when you're sitting in a train, whether you're on your phone, listening to music, reading a newspaper, don't think that on the C2C from London to Southend Central back in 1912 that people were speaking about life and reading out phrases. No, they weren't. They were just reading the newspaper. So I think that technology will change. How we do things will change. what we use. Look at this laptop in front of me. That wasn't what, they were using letters, they were using facts. And bro, how we live will change, but the essence and the fundamental things that make us human and the way we interact with each other, that won't change. We are humans. We always have been humans. We will be humans. We'll do exactly the same things. It would just be how that will change. The what and our reasons, our why, that won't change. But that's how I see it. Our methods, but the aims and the goals and the reasons, I think that will stay the same, man. I think we will stay the same. Yeah.
So refreshing, bro. So fucking refreshing. I love that. Never thought of it like that. Never thought of it like that. I might be too into bullshit on the internet right now. But honestly, Brandon, bro, thank you so much for being here,
bro. Really, thank you so much, man. I enjoyed it. As I said, for people listening, for us as well, man, it's a chance to just take a break from everything around us and just, who am I? What are we doing? Why are we doing it? It's really valuable, man.
I appreciate that, man. So tell everyone where they can find you, where they can find the Vossi fam, and anything else that you'd like to insert.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to know what I'm doing and who I am, whatever. So Instagram at Vossi, VOSSI.GVO. That's my DJ name. And Insta tag Vossi fam at Vossi fam. And don't just look, don't just follow. Send me a message. I always want to hear, like you like you said, insights, ways of seeing things, like criticism, reward, feedback. Just connect. I'm always open for collaborations and connections, as you say. So whoever's listening, whoever's inspired or inspired, whoever just wants to connect, wants to see the world in different ways and talk and just connect. Just connect the whole world together, man, as you're doing anyway. Just connect everyone, the Vossi fam, everyone. Just connect people together and make the world a better place. So share the love, spread the love. My guy. Yes, sir. In a bit. Ciao, ciao.